Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Power Series after a very, very long break. It's just truly somebody joining here. We used to do this on the regular every Sunday, just like all the other streams. Literally went on some break, but I'm trying to bring it back. So today is episode, I think 58. Take it like a new season. We're trying to get a lot of things in here. Strange, my earpieces in-ear monitor is giving me the flicks, but hey, yeah, we're gonna do it. So welcome. If this is the first time joining, this is Power Series. Streams live every Sunday. It's supposed to be 8 p.m. GMT and calculated in the other time zones, but I started late today because I was doing some things and I had to finish that before I get into it. Today, we're going to be taking a look at robotic process automation using Power Automate. Previously, in the last episode of this show, which you can find on the YouTube channel, we're doing a series on Copilot Studios, which was Power Virtual Agent rebranded to Copilot Studio, a unified place where you can build all your Copilot and chatbots, right? We're doing a series on that. We are going to go back to that series and try to finish it up. But today, as a means of, let's say, the stream coming back up, I want to take the opportunity to just show you people some of the importance of robotic process automation and how to do that using Power Automate desktop. And if time permits, I'll show you, how to connect a cloud flow to a desktop flow, because they're two different, not different, but one works on, locally, and then one is in the cloud. So I'll try to show you that. And then from next week, we'll go back to continuing the series on the Copilot Studio, right? We're going to do that. If this is your first time joining us, please try to subscribe to the channel for us. It actually, help us grow. So just like it, subscribe, hit the notification bell. So anytime I go live, you would get that information. As usual, before we get started, let's go for the montage. And when we come back, we're going to go straight into the action. Stay with me. Yeah, so this is the Power Series. We try to demystify everything on the Microsoft Power Platform. Again, if this is your first time joining us, I'm yours truly, Samuel joining. I'm a Microsoft MVP and also an MCT on the Azure Cloud. And I do a lot of stuff when it comes to Power Platform, IoT, and all the crazy stuff. But usually on Sundays, I devote this time, an hour of your time. We talk about the Power Platform and have some interesting fun. You can connect to me on any of my social handles on the screen right now. All the places you can get me, it's right there. So today, like I mentioned, we're going to be talking about robotic process automation using specifically the Microsoft Power Automate desktop, and then the cloud flows. So the question will be, what is robotic process automation? So just like the name implies, in the simplest of form, it is using a computer or process or automating a process that you would for some reason manually run, all right, or perform. And someone will say, what would this process be? And I'll give you a typical scenario today. And I think I started throwing hints on the Friday show pertaining to how the use case would be like. Now, most of the use cases, or most of the common use cases for robotic process automation is technically for legacy systems. So let's say, for instance, you're running a very legacy system, very, very old system that doesn't have an API. That requires you to log on physically to some machine, do some processes, capture the copy the output and put it somewhere, right? Robotic process automation using the Power Automate desktop allows you to automate that process. If you've done web testing before, it's more or less like using Selenium and some of these popular front-end web testing tools to pretty much record the steps you are doing. I'm not saying that robotic process automation is always about recording, but I'm just giving an example of that. It allows you to do that, right? It allows you to record those processes, play them back automatically, and even create variables and share stuff with it. That's just one use case. I think on the Friday show, I gave an example of, let's say, um, today we are in the era where APIs are working. Thank you for joining. You can just say hi to me. Let me know where you're watching us from, which country you're joining from, which platform you're joining from, and just let me know if the sound, everything is okay for you. Thank you so much. So I gave an example. Let's say, assuming that I don't have paid access to, let's say, some stock website, right? However, there's a read only, right, on the stock ticker, where you can actually see the stock prices, moving up. And hello to all of you joining from, hey Collins, thanks for joining. How are we doing all the way from Nigeria? Thanks for joining. Hope you're doing great. So let's say you don't have paid access to it, and let's assume that there is no API. The easiest way would be, okay, is it possible? Hey Thabita, thank you for joining all the way from Nigeria. Thabita is joining us. Welcome, Thabita. Hope you're doing great. These are your business application MVPs all the way in Nigeria, Abuja. Thank you so much. So assuming if you don't have access to to API, right, you would want to probably take a picture, right, from time to time. Is it possible to take picture every minute, every second, or something? You take that picture, and you probably have an AI that automatically analyzes that and tells you whether to go short, to dip, whatever that is, right? You could use a robotic process to do that. Another thing could be that, let's go to the business and the marketing side of things. Most times when you pay for ad placement, right, you pay for advertisement, you pay for placement of ad on, let's say, a website. Let's say you're saying, hey, I'm doing a banner, hey, I'm doing something, or you pay to put your content there for, let's say, 3-4 days. Now, how do you monitor that your ad is actually there for the next 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days, whatever the number of days are? Now, you could now leverage tools like Power Automate Desktop to do that kind of automation for you, right? And so it's a very powerful tool. You can also, do web scraping with it locally and then process the data to something else. So, for example, today's example, I'm going to use capturing, let's say, of an advert, right? Let's say I've placed an ad on Google's let's assume that my advert is on the Google homepage, right? Or I don't want to promote any other website, so I'm going to use just the Google homepage as an example. Let's say I pay that for the next 5-10 days. I want to be able to ensure that Google is actually placing my ad at that spot. So I'll write a script to say, hey, script, I want you to, every time the script runs, it could be, let's say, every morning, right? Or twice in a day. Sorry, guys. In the morning, in the evening, right? Hey, Renee, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing great. So anytime in the morning or in the evening, you take a picture of Google's website, all right, to see if your ad is there. Take the picture of the website, store the picture somewhere in the folder, and then I can process that later, right? I can connect it to a Cloudflow and do all the crazy stuff, right? Anyway, so enough of the talking. Let's just get straight into it. So to use the Power Desktop or Power Automate Desktop, you need to download it, right? You can do that from the Power Automate website. So let me bring in, and guys, like I say, this channel is for all of us. It's for all of us to learn, right? So if you have any scenarios, if you have any questions specific to maybe projects, specific to work, I mean, you can throw it in here and then we can try to discuss that. Hey, welcome guys. So, you can throw it in and then we'll try to, to answer that. So let's go. Let me share my desk right now. So we are on the Power Automate website. So just go ahead and sign in. Now, there are a couple of ways you can go in there. You can go through portal.office.com and then click on the Power Automate apps you have. And you can also go straight to, make the powerautomate.com. You can do that. Let's sign in. And then sign in with a different account. Sign in with different account. Let's do RPA logic. Yeah, that's what happens when you have a lot of accounts. When you have a lot of accounts. So I do this and then, oh, interesting. Let's see. Okay, let's do let's go here. Yeah, there we go. Approve this. Do your bio, and looks like we're in there. All right, so there we go. Awesome. Yep. So we are in. So this is my Power Automate, right? This is my Power Automate, and I've done Power Automate a lot of times on this show. So you can mostly it's even easier to if you go to the Power Automate webpage, right? You can see a lot of art, but what the easiest part is if you go to my flows, right? No, don't go to lens, sorry. If you go to my flows and you go to, now you can see that on the top, right? That's the easiest and quickest way to do the installation. When you come to your flows, and if you look at the top right corner right here, you should see install. Now when you click on the install, it's going to bring the Power Automate app. It's going to bring it here, right? So all you got to do is download and install it, right? And that's it. Now I have already downloaded it, and it's here. It's a flow I'm using to do some process. And you're seeing that is desktop because I've already connected it to it. I've not run it yet, but it's connected, and I'll walk you through that whole process and what you need to set up. So I'm going to, let's first assume that you've hit it, you've downloaded it, you've installed it. It's just going to go through a process of running the installation, and you just have to go ahead and install it on your machine. So let's do that now. So that has been done, and once you finish doing that, you should see Power Automate. So I click on it to run it. That's going to run the Power Automate desktop version for me. Now, just like I said, Power Automate is very powerful. You can run scripts, you can script websites, you can do different things. The Power Automate desktop even allows you to connect to APIs as well. So look at it like an extension of Power Automate Cloud in the cloud now running on your desktop. So you can literally do a lot of these things directly on your desktop, right? If you don't need to connect to, if you don't need to connect to the cloud or do anything, or everything is local, you can use that. To be able to connect your local machine to the cloud because your process is running locally, you need to set up some integration, which I'm going to walk you through on today's show. So this is the here you go. So this is how the interface looks like, right? It's almost like what you see on the web, and there are some examples here. So you can see a very popular example is Excel automation, right? Extract and sort data into Excel and manipulate it. Web automation, automate interaction with web application and handle web data. So that's like what I'm going to show you today. There's also desktop automation. That's like automate interacting with desktop application. So let's say, that's why I gave an example. There's also date time handling. You can see there's PDF automation. You can do text manipulation, scripting. You can do some flow control, a lot of things, right? Now, that is why I started by saying that it is not just the example I'm giving is just one of. There are multiple, examples of how you want to do this. Now, the cool thing is that another example I was trying to give is, let's say you have an old system which resides only in your organization. Is there's no API, there's no SOAP, there's no interaction with it, right? Where you have to manually log on to that machine. RPA and robotic process automation comes in very handy to do that. Now, if I go to my flows, it's going to execute the flow, right? But I'm going to show you. Let's walk through the process. Okay, let's give ourselves a scenario and then let's build it out. So the scenario we want to build is, I am a business. I want to advertise on Google, like, google.com, the search page. I'm telling Google that, hey, Google, I'm going to pay you X amount of money to replace the Google logo on your search page with, let's say, my business, because I'm running a campaign, okay, for the next 1 week. Or I'm saying that it could be any website, advertising website. Let's say I am buying a portion on the right side of the website and I need to track that. But today we're just going to hypothetically use Google, all right? So let's go ahead and do that. Or maybe, I mean, if you're not a business, or probably you are, you're a digital marketer, online marketer, and you place ads for clients, right? And your client says, I need proof that you have run the ad for me. So instead of every day going to the website, taking screenshots and doing that, you can literally say, hey, I'm going to do some automation of that, right? To make my life very easy. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. All right. So let's walk through the example. Let's walk through the use case. So let's say that yeah, guys, sorry, I needed to clear that. All right, so let's walk through the use case, right? The use case here is, let me use Firefox for example, right? So let's say the use case is that I need to check every morning that, let's say I go to google.com, or if you have any, I mean, let's make it interactive. If you want us to use any other website, just drop it in the chat. Any website you want us to use, I mean, for this demo, just put it in there. So let's say I'll start with Google until somebody drops a website in there for us to use. Let's say, so my requirement is that every morning or at a particular time, I want to come to Google, right? Come to Google here, run it, and then maybe go ahead and this is what I do, right? I go for snipping tool and I click new snip, and then I go all the way and I snip from here, bring it all the way down. Come on. Yeah. So let's say this is what I do, right? And then if you look at the snip, the screenshot you've taken, a couple of things I'm trying to do is make sure that I'm capturing the time, right? The date and time where I took the screenshot, and then also make sure that, okay, assuming that the advert was placed here where the Google is, I also need to make sure that that is being captured, and also make sure that the URL is captured, right? So let's say I'm done with this. I take this screenshot and then I go ahead and I click save and I put it in some folder somewhere. All right. Now, this process, imagine you need to do this twice a day. Let's think through this very carefully. Imagine you have to do this twice a day for 10 clients, right? You're a digital marketer. You need to make sure that the ads you are placing for them, they need evidence of it. So you put all of it in a folder and then you ship it to them with a timestamp. Imagine you have 10 clients, right? Let's say 10 clients, and you take this 3 times a day for each client. In a day, that's 30 screenshots you have to do. But with tools like RPA, with processes like Robotic Process Automation and tools like Power Automate Desktop and Power Automate, you will be able to do this, automate this process, and just make sure, get some beer if you are me, or get your coffee or get your beverage, whatever that is, and just monitor the process and just see that, hey, just is working fine. So that's what we're going to be doing. That is a use case. Now, to run that or to make that happen, 2 things need to happen, right? So here, please, this is Power Automate Desktop. I'm choosing to go one route. You could use multiple ways to do, but I'm choosing to go with a particular route. So first of all, you're like, okay, thought process. How do I automate the process of capturing, opening, let's say Firefox and checking some websites, right? That is, first of all, you need to probably script it. All right. And I'll walk you through the process. I'll walk you through the process of how I did all that. And then some of you say, but someone, that's cheating. No, it's not cheating. I'm being very productive, right? So thought process is, I can say, hey, we can use ChatGPT, right? And say, ChatGPT, That's if you're not a programmer, right? Say, hey, I want you to create maybe a Python script or a Java script or whatever it is. For me, that actually opens Firefox, goes to this URL, and then actually I'll show you what I did with it, so you know that it's quite easy and simple to do. It's actually fun. Let me, is it open? Let me try to open my, where is that? Let's see, automate. Yeah, I think this is it. Yeah, I think this is it. This is it. Yep. So this, yeah, manage, yes. So I'm going to trust this. All right, so this is a very interesting little code, and don't worry so much about the code. We'll go through, I'll walk you through the code, but don't stress yourself. I'll show you that I didn't have to stress myself in doing this. So basically, this side of the code is just including packages. So I need WebDrive, I need a Firefox service, I need to call Selenium WebDrive. So Selenium is a package that we use to do testing or screen grabs. So it's using the Firefox WebDriver, which means it will be opening or using Firefox, right? So here, all I'm saying is, hey, now I'm not here to teach you how to write this code. Today's episode is not about the code. It's just the process I want you to follow, right? As for writing the code, that's another matter. So basically, you need to make sure that you have the drivers that support Firefox. So here, I'm just telling you, hey, this is where you can find the driver. And then I'm setting the path for where it can find Firefox. It's a requirement by, the WebDriver. And I'm opening the Firefox options, passing in the path, which I've defined here. And then I'm literally just initializing the service and the driver that will be used to capture the screen and do all that. And so let's do this. So I'm going to go here and let's create, actually I'm going to copy the whole of this, and I'm going to go to, actually let me do this. You know what? I like to use my terminal, and feel free to drop in and ask any question if you're not following. I'll try to answer that. Let's see, those on the stream, we didn't, I hope we didn't ignore those of you on the stream. The stream would have just paused, but yeah, we're back. That's because I had to, okay, let's just stick through this. All right, so we're going to D and let's say I'm going to create a folder. It's the same thing, but so we will do, let's say TR. I know I have a lot of files in here, but I'm trying to find a very, okay, cool, no problem. So let's do this. mkdir. So let's create a folder called let's create a folder called RPA, right? And then in RPA in RPA, right? In RPA, let's just create a folder called scripts, right? mkdir script. Guys, don't be frightened. All I'm just doing is just creating I'm just creating a folder in there, right? So that's it. Okay, so I can say let's code to this folder. So all we're doing is opening Visual Studio in this folder. And yes, I want to trust this, close this. And then I would just add a new file. We a Python file. I want to use Python. Yeah. And let's have this run. Okay. It's running. Okay, thank you. and I'll put the code there, the same code, right? I'll put the same code that I was showing you. So basically calling the drivers, setting it, and here, since we want to use, let's do this. So we'll do google.com, right? So I asked for someone to put in a website for us to use, but it looks like no one has. So we'll just stick to Google. So still going off, we're still going off of our example, right? Where we want to just go to google.com and take a screenshot of google.com, right? So I'm saying that, hey, this is a URL, google.com. Take a picture of that. Go and take a picture. But this is what the driver does. It says it waits for some few seconds, and depending on the page you are on. This was a specific case, right? I had to do something on the page. So, and this was basically just looking for an accept all button on the page and, you know, deleting it. We don't need that, so I can go ahead and dismiss this. I'm just trying to keep this very simple. And then I realized that because I use multiple screens, I wanted to capture the whole screen. So after I navigate to the page, I zoom out about 67% so that I can get everything in view. And then what I'm doing is that I'm taking a picture, right? And when I take the picture, I'm using the current, how do you call it? I'm using the current date time. So let's go back to our folder. And let's see. So we are inside our script. So we'll go back one and we'll be inside RPA. And then we will do mkdir. And then we'll call this capture, right? So if you do DR, we have RPA script, RPA capture, right? So, and it's D RPA capture. So I'm just going to go in here and say, hey, use a current date, and then we'll go to RPA and then capture and the name of the file, right? Very simple. So let me zoom in so you can see this, nothing crazy. So all I'm saying is that I'm setting the current date to be the whatever time it is now, but formatted in month, day, year. And then this is how I want to call the file. So it's going to be the current date.png, and then the full screenshot part where I want you to save the screenshot is DRPA capture, and then what the screenshot name, which will be whatever name that is set here. Then I'm using a package called Python Auto GUI to capture or take a screenshot and save it in the path, and then it closes. It's as simple as that, and it will tell me that the file has been saved successfully. So that is all this code is doing, right? So if I save this, I'll call this in the script. We will call this let's say RPA demo. So it's called RPA demo. It's a Python file, so we keep it there. Right now, ideally, if you want to run this is a Python script, okay? So if you want to run it, it's quite easy. It's just as let's open this to the directory, and you need to make sure I'm running a Python script. So I need to make sure that I have Python installed. I have all the necessary packages installed. Like I said, it's not the focus of, I just want to show you the script that is we're going to use to do the automation. All right. So here I can say RPA. I can do this. Let's say Python RPA. I think it's RPA demo, right? .py. Let's run this. Now, if you have your Python everything installed properly, what's going to happen is that now take a look at this. Now, my hands are up. I'm not touching it. It is open Firefox, gone to Google, reduce the zoom. It's taking a screenshot, and it will echo something back. It's done. I didn't have to touch it. All right. It literally just did that on its own. Now, to confirm that it went to Google, took the screenshot, and put it in the capture folder, let's go ahead and look for our, let's go to the files. And so I'm bringing it here. And then it's where is that? RPA, there you go. And then capture. See that? That's the file. So if you open it up, is opened it here. Sorry guys, let me bring it here for you. There you go. Do you see it? It's went there, went to the URL, captured it, and saved it in a folder. Now take a look at this. When you want to know that there's a robotic process doing, just to make sure it's clear, look into there. You realize that in the address bar, it looks like there's some robot on the side, and this is red and marking, letting you know that the process is an automated process. All right, so just be mindful of that. Now, so at least we know that this script is working. Okay, we know that the script is working. It's taking, we'll go to whatever website, take a picture, and then update it. So at least we know the script is working. Now that we have and know that the script is working, it is time for us to now go and use. So I'll delete this for the meantime. It's now time for us to use. So I'll leave this down here. And because the script is done, I can close this for now. All right. Let's close this. Let's close this. And yeah, I wanted to show you that, look, you can do this. Let's say ChatGPT. There are a lot of things I use ChatGPT for. So I'm going to show you. Where is that? Yeah, automation script. So you see, this is me coming to ChatGPT and telling, hey, let me show you my prompt and how I redefined it. So I was like, can you help me create a simple Python script that will open Microsoft Edge? You know, on my browser, I'll go to this URL, take a screenshot and do this. I mean, I'll spare you all the details. And then look at this. So ChatGPT pretty much gave me all the script, gave me the steps. I tested it. It wasn't working for me. I had to do. So pretty much just saying, if you can't program, you can use ChatGPT. Even for us who program, if you're not conversant or if you're not, just please be productive. It will save you a lot of time, right? So let's close this. Now, let's come to our desktop. All right. So I can open this and share with you the same process, and then I'll create a new one. We'll create a new process for us. It's not a big deal. So basically, I made sure that my Power Automate desktop was installed. I've shown you where to get it to install it. It's just a simple install. I run it, give it the permissions, and you are good to go. So, and you can see this flow here has only one main action, right? I've not even added a lot of things. It's just one action, and that's what I'm saying, that it can be as complicated as you want it to be. In my case, I just wanted to do a simple action. If I want to do multiple actions, I can do it. Today we'll try to see if we can do the multiple actions. Now, we can, now let me open this for you to see. All right, so let's edit this. So basically, I'm using the run application action. So let me give you a quick brief of the Power Automate UI, Power Automate desktop UI, right? So let's move this here for the meantime. So this is what you find. If you go to your home, you see this, and you can create, if you already have flows, you can see my flows shared with me, examples, almost like what you will see in Power Automate, right, in the cloud. So you come here and you click on new flow, and then it will ask you for, you know, the name of the flow. So let's call this Power Series Automation, right? Now, if you want to include the Power FX script or, you know, formulas, for lack of better words, you can enable this. I don't need it in here, but all the Power FX that we are using in Power Automate, in Power Apps and Power Automate as well, you can bring them or use them if you want to. In my case, I don't want to do that, so I'll just leave it and just go ahead and click on create. Then it brings it here and opens an editor, right? So it opens an editor for opens an editor for your for the automation you want to, or for the flow you want to create, right? Let me make this a little big. On your left here, you can see a lot of actions, right? I can zoom in here so you can see a lot of actions on the left side: mouse and keyboard, clipboard, text, datetime, PDF, command session, terminal emulation, OCR, cryptography, Windows Service, XML, FTP, AWS, Azure, all of it, right? There's a lot of actions. And how do you use these actions? So you can either search. So if I'm saying run application, I can type run, maybe application, and it will give me, as part of the system actions, right? You can do a quick search here. So you can see variable, conditions, and look at this. It's extensive. Exchange, email, database, word, launch word, attached to a running word, save word. So you can do a lot of automations, right? Using Power Automate Desktop. Date, time. I can add date, subtract date, get the current date, time. See, you can do a lot of things with PDF. Trust me, you can do a lot of things. And the good thing is that if you can do your whole scripting process by just dragging and dropping some of these actions, right? So in our case, let's take it step by step. We know that our script is working. The next step we want to do is, can we tell Power Automate to run this script for us, right? So I'll just go ahead and use the run application. So select this. You just drag and drop it in here, and there you go. And then you can see, so these are the arguments you need to pass for the run application. So question is, where is the application? Do you remember where we kept it? We can go back to our so if we go to, we know that we kept it in, it was in the RPA backslash, it was in, I think, script, and then we called it let's go to the folder and see. So it's in RPA script, and then it is RPA demo.py Python, right? So RPA demo.py. Now this could be any script, right? Now, do we have any sorry, forgive me, there's a mistake here, forgive me. So this is the command line. Now the application part, because I said run an application, okay, now, and this varies for, this is specific to just this. The application I'm going to use to run this script is Python, right? And on my machine, this is where I have Python installed. So on your machine could be different, but this is where I have my, so if I wanted to run, let's say, a C# thing, I could probably point to the C# SDK execute and then pass in the command of the file I wanted to run. But for Python, this is what you do. And technically, that is it. I'm saying that, hey, use the Python application to run this command, which is this script found here. I'm not worried about the working directory. I can put in the working directory if I wanted to do things Windows style, just make it normal. And I want you to, after this application is launched, run, continue immediately. You can decide to, now every action you perform in the or process you do output what we call the process ID. So you can store this process ID in a variable and use it, or you can store it as a step, and then you can, in your flow, you can determine if a step fails, what you want to do, maybe some countermeasure. You can do that if you want to. But in this case, this is as simple as it gets. Very, very simple. And I'll just go ahead and save this. So when this flow runs, I'm expecting it to use Python to run the code, do all that process again, and put it in the folder. So just so that we are aligned, if you go to RPA captures, as you can see, there's nothing here, right? So I'm going to minimize this. And how do you run your flow? Very simple. I can go ahead and just click run from here, and my hands are up again. I'm not doing anything. You can see that it's opened, is open Python, running the script, and again the script is running. It's open Firefox, maximized it, zoom out. It's going to take a screenshot. Taking the screenshot, when it's done, it comes back to the console and say, hey, the screenshot is saved with this somewhere, right? So that's done. It's completed. Now, you could also use you could also add another step, right? To say that, okay, after the screenshot, now look at this. You can say that after the screenshot is taken, what do I want to do? I probably want to open that folder and do something, and I can just hit the record and then do steps, perform steps on my window, and then it will record the Power Automate desktop will record the steps. To be able to record browsers, it would ask you to install a driver for the various browsers you want to use, whether it is Edge, Chrome, or Firefox. You have to install the driver for it to be able to know which part of the web, the browser you are clicking. But in our case, we have a script doing that for us already, right? Ideally, if I didn't want to use a script, another way would have been, okay, let's record. So I'll record it, opening a website, and I'll show you. We'll just do a quick demo of that as well, right? But for now, we save this. We know that our flow is working. Now, I think I have already, because I have already, how do you call it? Because I've already, yeah, and then, yeah, so when you finish editing, you can close this, and then your main page will still be open, right? Now, because I've already saved this, now, what's next? You realize that here, the only thing that you might not find immediately in Power Automate Desktop is, the schedule for that particular flow. Okay, so maybe let's go to properties for this. So here the flow is set to, we've not set any timeout, but this is just a generic flow that I would run. Like if I want to execute this flow, I have to manually run this flow, right? The flows do not run on schedule. It doesn't mean that you can't set it to run on schedule. If you have, in the same way, you can have a cron job, a bash script or something that runs it automatically, right? And that's fine. Now, to be able to run this flow in the cloud, for it to do it automatically, first of all, you need to register your machine, whichever machine where the flow is on. You need to register that machine in Azure, right? On your Power Automate in the cloud. You need to register the machine and also make sure that that machine has got a user account that allows you to run the flow. You can run the flow in two modes. There is a attended mode and the unattended mode. The unattended mode is when the flow runs in the background without you doing anything. So depending on how you schedule it, the flow will come up. It will come up online, do whatever steps it is, and then go back to sleep or log out. The attended mode will require you to have logged into that particular machine, all right, that you are using. And then it would now use your account to process it. So right now, the machine I'm logged onto, I'm logged on with a Windows account that doesn't have a direct local administrator. I have a local admin account, but if I want to use that, I might probably have to log out but I'm going to show you that process. So now we have the flow. I'm going to show you another process, another example of how you can use Power Automate Desktop. Just a very quick and simple demo. So I'm just going to do this, and we'll just say, we'll call this capture demo, like very quick demo, before I show you how to do the calling it on a schedule. So this is our capture demo, and just like we do anytime you run it, it will go ahead and then open the editor. All right, so I want to record. So realize that as soon as I hit the record, it opens up the recorder on my side here. Do you see it? So I have not recorded any actions yet. As soon as I start to, if I do the record, right? Once I hit record, all my actions are going to start to, is going to work, right? So let's try this out. So let's say this is a typical example. I come to work, I need to open a how do you call it? I need to open a Word document, I need to open a text file and then do something, all right? Or again, this same process we are doing, let's try to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit record. So now it's recording. So what do I want to do? So I say I come here, I probably right click, and I don't know if you can see, but behind, you know what? Let me close this. It's actually recording the other stuff. Actually, let me stop. And I'm going to delete. So you see that all the things I'm doing is recording it. I want to close. Good. Yeah, I want to close out exactly. Good. So I want to close the Firefox browser that is open so that I can do the process again. So don't forget that the record is still ongoing. So anything I do is going to record that. So let's go ahead. I start from here. I click it. It's waiting for the action to be performed. So it's open Firefox, as you can see. So I click in here. Now I see that it tells me I need to use the Firefox extension, right? Which I think I've already installed that. It says you need a Power Automate extension to use Automate in your flow. Select that extension. Yeah, let's just get the extension. I thought I had installed it, but yeah, it's already installed. Let me move this here for the meantime. Actually, let me just put it somewhere here. Let me make it small. Yeah, I see. It says that it's already there, so I didn't really need to do this. So I'm going to delete this, and because it thought I didn't have the extension, it just paused. So let's close this, and then I'm going to close this one again. I'm going to start again. So I don't want to have the interaction. So let's hit record. So it's recording. So I come here, I click on Firefox. It opens Firefox. Now I go in here, I click, and then I type HTTPS, and then I say I go to let me just make sure I type it is what crafted. Let me make sure I type it well. So craftedclimate.org, which is one of my projects. I hit enter. So this opens Crafted Climate. And then maybe, I'm supposed to do something here. I'm not doing it. I'm just trying to show you. Maybe scroll through a few things, maybe look for something, copy something. Let's say maybe I need to copy this text, right? So I highlight the whole of this text, right click it. All right, and then so you see that the right click was there. So let's just right click this again, and let's do this. Okay, there you go. So extract it as a text, right? And it's extracted a text, which I'm calling, it's rather calling title. But let's say I'm done with that's just all I need to do. I'll just click on done, right? Now it's going to come back to our editor. So what happened? You realize that it started, I needed to press the button, populated with this URL. I waited for 2 seconds. It sends the enter. It's launched. It went through this, and then it scrolled down, and then it got the detail. It got the title from the elements paragraph called our, and then so here I can literally convert all these little pieces into variables, as you can see here. So you see browser, title. So these are variables. Then I can now use the variable in the next flow. Now, so let's just test this again, right? So if you look closely, I'm going to close this website, and I'm just going to hit run for this flow, and just I'm not touching or doing anything. So it's going to try to recreate the whole thing. See, it's opened Firefox. It's going to enter craftedclimate.org, click the enter, run through it, wait for a minute or two for it to settle in. It's going to scroll up. It's going to try to capture and collect that information. There we go. And when it's done, the flow should go back to it. Now I only copied the content of that, so that's why I gave the example that, assuming I wanted to do this, is a routine you do all the time. You're copying parts and pieces or scrapping or doing all that. You could do the same thing. So now I think there's an error. Yeah. Oh, sorry. There is an error. Oh, there's no error. Okay, so it's done, right? So as you can see, that's how simple it is. You can now use the recorder to record your steps, and then you can modify it, right? But hey, let's try to finish this this one. If we're not able to finish it calling from the cloud flow, I would try to do this next before we start. But I hope you get the picture. So let's even run away from, yeah, let's save this. Let's run away from this basic demo. Our main course, the script we are using to say, hey, run the script, capture the screen, and save it in a folder. Now, which is the Power Series automation. Now, I want to be able to run this flow, right? I want to run this flow, let's say every 6 hours or every 3 hours. I want to run the flow. And then once the flow runs, I probably want to send an email or collect that image as an attachment and send it to my client. Hey, this is as of this morning. This is a screenshot of your advert on wherever. This is a screenshot of your advert on. That's what I want to do, right? Now, like I mentioned, to be able to do that, you need to make sure that you have actually connected your local machine. So if we go to the cloud, which is Power Automate on the cloud, on the left side, right, on the left side here, if you go to more, you should see machines. Let me scroll here. You should see machines here. If it's not pinned, you can pin that down. So I'm just going to go there, more, and then pin this down. So now when you hit machine, this is already, it's set up to use this machine, right? So because I'm using this machine, I might not be able to technically, how do you call it? Run this because I'm using an account that doesn't have access. There's a few things. So to make this even more interesting, what I'm going to do now is I've already set up a VM in the cloud, right? In Azure. I have a virtual machine I spun up not long ago. I'm going to try to connect to that virtual machine, and then we will now try to do the same thing. When I say the same thing, I'm going to go through that process on the virtual machine to install all the things we need to install, right? To make sure that we can run that script from that virtual, because I have an account that we can automate. And then we will see how, and maybe set it to maybe every minute, it should take a picture. Sorry, it should take a screenshot and do that. Time check is about 5 minutes to the end of the stream, but we'll start the process. So let's go to makethepowerautomate.com. Actually, so let me actually go to my portal.azure. So I'm going to log on to my, actually I don't need to log on to Azure. Let's see. I have the RDP file for that VM I already spun up. So yeah, and all it takes is to just be able to connect it, just to make sure that you have set up the necessary firewall rules and configuration to allow for external connection to that machine. Mine is a VM, right? Let's look at downloads. I think, where is that RDP file? Let's use date. Yeah, I think, is this one? Yeah, I think it's this one. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm using the virtual machine for a class I was teaching. So let's close this. So technically I won't use Azure on my desktop. I'm going to use, oh man, let me go and find it again. Downloads. I think it's this one. Is it this one? 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 No, I think it's this one. I guess I have to go to my portal after all. Okay. Okay. If this. Oh, standoff. Yeah, that is it. Oh, yeah. So I think I had an auto shutdown settings on my Azure to shut down to shut down the VM after I think 8 p.m. So the VM is off. So bear with me. I'm going to turn on the VM, right? What is it? Okay, I'm just logging in. Don't worry. It looks like we'll have to do part two of this. So don't worry. Today, all I'll do is I'll just log in. We'll log in and we'll install it. We'll install the Power Automate desktop on the VM, and then next week we'll try to finish it up. I'm trying to be very respectful of the time and not to go. I mean, I can go for a long time, but it's a Sunday evening for some people, and you might probably want to prepare for. Yeah, this is the server. You will see that is a VM. Now this is a VM in the cloud. Today with all this Azure and cloud things, you can spin up a desktop in the cloud and use it anytime you need it. You don't. So you see, if you look here, my VM is not started. It's shut down. So you see, it stopped. It's stopped and it's deallocated, so it doesn't incur any extra cost. So we're going to click this to, what is it saying? No, I think I know why. Refresh. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Oh, I think it's going to say that I think it's going to say my subscription balance on this particular account that I'm using. Oh, guys, sorry about that. Oh, yeah. Read. Okay. So I think I know what's happening. There is a hold on the subscription. I should have changed it. Oh no. Okay, don't worry. I promise you, I will spin up another VM next week before the session starts, and then we'll walk through installing the Power Automate desktop on the VM, and then connecting it to our Power Automate in the cloud. Then we can schedule it to say run every whatever minute, and then we'll be able to do that. However, to do that, I need to remind you that there are some licensing requirements. You have to have the Power Automate license, and you also need to have an RPA, Power Automate desktop license, right? That allows you to run or connect desktop flows to your cloud flows. So you need to be mindful of that. Well, looks like we have many out. Thank you so much for joining. We're going to take it tomorrow, next week. We'll continue from there. If this is the first time, this is Power Series. We do this Sundays at 8 p.m. GMT. If things change, we'll probably start a little late. But please subscribe to the channel. If you're new, hit the notification bell so that anytime I go live, you can get stuff from me. And also you can connect to me on all my social media handles. Esadrani. I'm on X, LinkedIn. Think about it. I'm everywhere. I'm there. So like I always say, let's make the world a better place. If you are we have a WhatsApp group for the Power Platform user group. The QR code is, this is it. This is a QR code. So you can actually just scan it and join the WhatsApp group. Yeah, this is what time will permit us. I still remain yours truly, Samuel Adrani. If this is something you want to do with me every Sunday, actually every Tuesday, Fridays, and Sundays. Tuesdays are for IoT, Fridays are for general technology, and Sundays are specifically for the Power Platform. So Tuesdays, IoT stuff. We're working with MX Chip. Join me on Tuesday if you're an IoT enthusiast. We are doing a series on the Azure AI Studio on the Fridays channel, Demystify Tech. So we're doing AI, building AI stuff. If that's interesting to you, make a day with me on Fridays there. And if yours is just Power Platform, then Sundays, just make a day with me 8 p.m. on the show. and we'll try to demystify some power series. If I don't know it, I'll reach out to the community of experts. We'll solve the problem for you. So till I come your way again next week, happy week. Be safe, be kind, be nice to people. We're all going through a lot of things and emotions. So if someone is there for you, respect that person and don't take that person for granted. With that said, I'll catch you again on Tuesday, Friday, Sunday, God permit. I am out. Stay and stay, but then be nice and have a safe week.